In late 1944, World War II had entered a critical phase in Europe. Allied forces were pushing deep into Nazi-occupied territory from the west, while the Soviet Red Army was advancing from the east. Adolf Hitler, facing a deteriorating situation, conceived a desperate plan to halt the Allied advance and possibly turn the tide of the war. Hitler's audacious strategy involved a surprise counteroffensive in the Ardennes forest, a region that had seen little action since World War I. The plan aimed to create a bulge in the Allied lines, hence the name, Battle of the Bulge. If successful, it would divide the American and British forces and potentially allow the Germans to retake the strategic port of Antwerp. On December 16, 1944, under the cover of bad weather, the Germans launched their offensive. They attacked the thinly stretched American lines with overwhelming force, utilizing a combination of infantry, tanks, and artillery. The element of surprise initially worked in their favor. Despite being caught off guard, the American soldiers put up a determined defense. Units like the 101st Airborne Division famously held the key town of Bastogne, refusing to surrender even in the face of harsh winter conditions and encirclement by German forces. The harsh winter weather during the Battle of the Bulge became a critical factor. It grounded the Allied air forces, preventing them from providing adequate support to the beleaguered American troops. However, the same weather also hampered the Germans' ability to maintain their momentum. As the true scale of the German offensive became apparent, Allied high command scrambled to respond. General George S. Patton's Third Army raced north to relieve the besieged troops in Bastogne, while the Allied air forces finally got a break in the weather, allowing them to provide air support. By late December, the tide of the battle began to turn. The American and British forces, reinforced and resupplied, launched counterattacks, gradually pushing the Germans back. The Allies regained the initiative and began to close the Bulge. The Battle of the Bulge was a costly engagement for both sides. The Allies suffered over 80,000 casualties, while the Germans lost a significant portion of their elite troops and valuable equipment. The battle also exhausted the last of Germany's reserves, hastening their ultimate defeat. The Battle of the Bulge marked the last major German offensive on the Western Front. It hastened the end of World War II in Europe, with the German surrender occurring just 5 months later. The battle demonstrated the resilience of Allied forces and the folly of Hitler's last-ditch efforts to change the course of history. Today, the Battle of the Bulge is remembered as one of the most significant and brutal battles of World War II. The Ardennes region, once a scene of fierce combat, now serves as a memorial to the soldiers who fought and died there, a reminder of the sacrifices made to secure freedom and peace in Europe.